Hello, my name's David Salinas. I'm from Kingsville, Texas, and today I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how to get accepted to physical therapy school. Back in the day, a few years ago, you can become a physical therapist with just a bachelor's degree. But a few years ago, they changed that to a master's degree, and now it's required to have a doctorate degree in order to be a physical therapist. Physical therapist salary ranges from $80,000 to $120,000 depending on how much experience you have. Starting pay for physical therapy school for physical therapists is about $45,000 to $50,000 a year. After that, you increase yearly with the amount of experience you have. To become a physical therapist, like I said, you have to go to a doctorate program, meaning you have to have a bachelor's degree prior to going into the doctorate program. You can have a bachelor's degree in anything you want, and you can still be accepted to physical therapy school. A lot of people don't know that, but you can literally be an art major with a bachelor's degree, or a chemistry major, or even a physics major, any kind of major, as long as you have a bachelor's degree and complete the prerequisites required to get into physical therapy school, you are eligible for acceptance into physical therapy. I personally, I did my undergraduate at Texas A&M University Kingsville in a major of kinesiology with the focus on physical therapy school, and I have just applied and got accepted to the University of Texas Health Science Center in San Antonio, Texas. I applied to Lubbock, Texas Tech. I applied to San Antonio, the University of Texas Health Science Center, and I applied to Denver and Houston at Texas Women's University. Most most doctorate programs within Texas require you to go to an interview prior to getting accepted. My first interview was at Texas Tech in the Lubbock campus, and I was really nervous. Surprisingly, I thought I did horribly, but I got accepted into the Texas Tech program, but at the Amarillo campus. So I politely declined it because Amarillo is really boring and there's nothing to do. A few weeks later, I had my second interview at San Antonio, and I was sick at that time, so I thought I did really bad. But within 5 days after my interview, I got a call, an email, and a letter from San Antonio stating that I got accepted to the program. I was really excited, and I decided to take that offer. Texas Women's University got back to me around the same time as Texas Tech and San Antonio. However, they put me on the waiting list. Mm. Yeah, I know it's pretty hard to get into, but just recently they took me out of the waiting list and they let me know that I got accepted to the Houston campus. But I already accepted San Antonio, and I'm kind of loyal, so I decided to go there. So, whenever you're applying to physical therapy in Texas, there's this website called PTCast. You put in all your information into PTCast and you send it to the schools that you plan on applying to for physical therapy school. Once they receive it, they look over it and they let you know whether or not you are accepted for an interview. And then after that interview, they let you know whether you got accepted or put on a waiting list or even denied. It's a really competitive field, but it's really good. Um, let's see, what else can I say? The starting pay for physical therapy is about $45,000 to $50,000 a year. And as you get more experience, that salary can reach up to $130,000, $140,000. The highest paying jobs for physical therapy are within home health care, where you can be making up to $120,000, $130,000 a year. However, it's a bit risky because you have to go into people's houses that you don't know and perform rehabilitation with them there. Um, Before going into the application process, you need to have at least two or even three letters of recommendation. One from a licensed physical therapist and two from other people. I had two physical therapists write me letters of recommendation, and my department chair, Chris Heron, who wrote my third letter of recommendation, which I sent to the schools. Also, you need to take the GRE, like I mentioned earlier, and the GRE costs about $195 to complete. It's a really hard 6 hour test, but if you study, you'll do great, and you can take it multiple times. Furthermore, this is a really important part into getting to physical therapy school. You need to have observation hours from a licensed physical therapist. A lot of schools require about 100 hours, but it differs depending on which campus you apply to. So you just have to check on the requirements at which campus you're applying to. I personally had 140 observation hours from a licensed PT, but the best thing for you to do is try getting your observational hours in multiple settings. I got my observation hours in pediatrics, orthopedics, and wound care. But there's also geriatrics available. There's neurology available. There's cardiac rehab available. You just have to look at what your local businesses offer and allow you to observe. After that, you send in all your information to PCAS, like I mentioned earlier, and you just wait for the call or letter to see if you got an admission or an interview. After your interview, you meet all the people who teach at the campus, so all the administrators and everybody, and they interview you. Texas Tech was a 15-minute one-on-one interview. San Antonio, however, was a four-step interview. There's 4 interviews in one day. You have one interview, which is a group interview, and then 3 individual interviews with differentiating people. And they ask you very specific questions, like the differences between morality and goals, which is more important, which is less important, and why. That's what they ask you. That's an example. They can ask you way more. Texas Women's University, however, is a little weird because Texas Women's University don't offer interview processes. They accept you based on your GRE scores, your transcripts, and your letters of recommendation, which you have to be a really strong competitor to get into Texas Women's. I fortunately got waitlisted. I have a 3.86 GPA. I got a 147 on my verbal scores in GRE and a 148 on the quantitative portion. And I scored a 5 on the writing portion, which is great on the writing portion, not too good on the quantitative and verbal reasoning sections. But try your best, do your best, be persistent, be a strong applicant, and I'm more than sure you would get into a physical therapy school. I would suggest applying to a physical therapy school in the state which you live in so you don't have to pay out of state fees, which is like triple or even quadruple the tuition that an in-state student would have to pay. So look around you, look at the campuses and programs offered within the state that you live in so you can pay less money. I just wish you good luck, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them on the page below and let me know, and I'll try getting back to you. Thank you.